we are live. Welcome back to the 2017 Canadian Outdoor Singles Championships. I'm Jake Shuknick, joined by Shirley Fitzpatrick Wong again. How are you doing now, Shirley?
Great. Nice to be here and watching the bowling.
Round number 2 here. We have John Siteman from Nova Scotia against Pat Byrd from Alberta.
Defending champion.
That's right, defending champ, Mr. Byrd. You can see the mat is way up there. That's a typical Pat Byrd way to play. He's usually brings the mat up quite a piece. I think I'm going to need to rearrange the camera there. Yeah, it's tilted again.
For those of you joining us, it's a bit windy here in Winnipeg, so at times we do need to adjust some things here as the wind picks up. Oh, there goes the laptop again. And as we deal with the wind, so do the bowlers. Currently playing with the wind behind them.
Ew. Huh. That's interesting.
And Pat Byrd starts off with a 2 in the first end.
And he's got the mat right back again here now.
Yes, he does. But a similar jack length, maybe just a bit longer. Yeah, a bit longer.
He has those red and blue funny colored bowls that rotate as they come down the green.
Yeah, are those his arrow bowls?
I believe so.
Yes, they must be.
I believe so.
Players are now playing into the wind. Both started on the straight hand, as we saw earlier today. Ditch side running quite a bit straighter than the other.
We'll see who switches and sticks to the non-ditch hand first, as Pat's second bowl, he tried it out. John's pushing his first into the count there.
And Pat's going to return to the straight hand now. I think it was all just based on where the front bowl was.
Mm-hmm. He's grabbed the jack on his way through to be lying to. John wants to know if last bull is shot.
This is John's first bowl on the swoopy side.
He's urging it on, but
Nice weight for it.
yeah, weight was pretty good. Almost worked backdoor.
Pat's having a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Could see Pat play towards John's bowl in this case because
Mm-hmm.
it is the only one in the head.
Very blustery here today. Lots of wind gusts. That's just through the head there. Not sure if he was looking to work on his own.
Yep, by the end of the day, Jake, I think you'll be calling it Windy Peg.
Windy Peg, that's right. I was saying to Robbie earlier, I might call this the Canadian Windy City. New Chicago. And John's coming up well short on that. So I'm not sure if John's bull was good enough to sneak into the count there or not.
We'll find out shortly. Now, in case you haven't heard, Portage in Maine, downtown Winnipeg's been called the windiest corner in Canada.
Huh.
So this isn't really out of the ordinary here.
So I guess that was one for John. Make it 2-1.
He's chosen to play it fairly long in this direction with the wind. They won't have to throw it that hard.
No, no.
There's going to be a lot of help behind the bowl.
Doesn't surprise me that he stretched it out a little bit after Pat had the mat up so far. Although John does have the mat up 6 feet or so.
Yeah.
He threw his first one in the ditch there. And Pat's following suit. First one on the green wins.
It's 3 bowl singles now.
And John's still in the ditch.
Better
Pat
weight
kept
there.
it on. That's a good adjustment. 3 in the ditch there for John. Pat's bowl came back quite a bit on that ditch hand side.
Yes, it did. Do you know what sort of bowls he's throwing? What kind of bias?
So you were guessing they were an arrow bowl, but I don't know what.
I think Pat has more than one set of bowls, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's for sure. He definitely does.
Frustrating end for John.
Mm-hmm.
That jack just isn't as far as it looks when you've got all that wind behind you. Plus, it is a little downhill at that end.
And Pat's just throwing it to keep it on, so that'll be 3 for Pat.
Pat's done much what he did in the second end.
Mm-hmm. Ready to go before the marker had finished centering the jack.
I think perhaps the rain we had yesterday, maybe their lines aren't quite as visible as they, because we noticed the markers having to get some indication from the players whether the jack's on center or not.
Right.
Yeah, after throwing 4 bowls in the ditch with the wind, it's tempting to pull back now, but he's into the wind.
Makes a difference. You got to be aware of it.
Pat certainly got experience playing in windy conditions. He was in Christchurch, Asia Pacific's 2015. Wind there plays a lot of havoc with the greens.
Absolutely.
Nice bowl from him there.
Although John's been to the Australian Open twice, and he told me that it's been fairly windy down there too, so I'm not sure if it was Tweed Heads or what club he was playing at, but he said it was the windiest experience he's ever had.
Well, when you covered the juniors this year, the youth, wasn't that quite windy?
It was pretty windy there. It wasn't quite to this extent, but it was still fairly breezy.
Watching you on the live stream, I'm sure I saw some umbrellas tipping over.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff blowing away. And Pat's drawing in another here for 2.
But John came back with better weight on his second bowl. So give him a little bit of confidence now playing his last 2 bowls, the important ones.
Just got to build that momentum going forward. This first set, the way that I play sets, sometimes I don't really care too much about the score for the first set. I'm just more worried about getting my line and my weight down, so that way I can win the second set and the tiebreak.
You like to play under pressure, do you?
I guess so.
Some would say taking that first set is almost like having a point on the board for the second set, because you don't have to win the second set if you've won the first one. All you need is a tie, whereas the person you're playing has got to win it.
That's true. That's very true.
Switching to the straight side and coming up a little long. Easy to do.
I was going to say, Pat definitely found the line on that swoopy hand there. All of his bowls are relatively similar. Not sure if that was 2 for Pat, 3 for Pat.
Yeah, 3.
Makes it 8-1. guess Pat's happy with where the mat is here. It's the first time he brought it way up and
Yes.
send its back a fair face.
And he scored a 3 when he did that. Oh.
Here's a pretty good bowl from John. Just through, but shot. The last end, Pat was playing that swoopy hand, but going this way here, he's playing that ditch hand side.
He's played the line well.
Mm-hmm.
So has John.
John's calling for it to go down, but with that kind of weight, it wasn't going to in time.
Contact with the shot bowls would bring the jack nicely to his own.
Mm-hmm. John's sort of walking off to the side there, trying to get a look around. Grab the jack.
Nice shot.
That's a pretty good draw there. Pat's going to walk down and take a look.
Only bad thing for John with that is that his bowl looks pretty exposed.
Mm-hmm. And Pat's been playing that hand,
yeah.
so I wouldn't be surprised if he just comes down and looks to roll it through. I think he's outside. Pretty good draw weight if he was looking to just draw it off. So next door, Gary Pickering's up 3-1 over Carter Watson. Rink beside that, Malcolm Taylor up 4-1 over Glenn Taylor. We drove Glenn Taylor home last night after the meet and greet, and he said between his match, it's going to be someone from BC named Mr. Taylor that's going to win that game. And John just drew the jack.
Yes.
Again, beautiful. Could be two for
Playing
John.
that swoopy side well.
Yeah, yeah.
Important time for him to take some points and keep the set
Mm-hmm.
alive.
Yeah, within reach still. So Ernie Meads up 5-1 over Gary O'Connell. I believe that's Mike McNorton up 4-2 over Ivo Van Basteler. So that was just one for John, I guess. Trail did a little too far. John's light and narrow with his first. That's a great opening bowl there from Pat.
Doesn't get much better.
Just drew in around. I don't think it was a toucher though. Pat Byrd just skipped the men's forest team that got gold at the majors a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice
beauty shot by John. I think that might still be in play. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Yeah, Pat's quick on the mat. He didn't even need to check. So I guess that's still live by a bit.
Now to play the swoopy hand when the jack's on that side of center, looks like he's taking a nice line.
Is it in though?
Oh.
Yeah, John's saying it's
No.
out.
Yeah. So that jack is very close to the boundary line then.
John's going to play the narrow hand here. Try to keep it in play.
Makes you wonder at what point will that hand snap over.
Yeah, that's a good question. Played it pretty well though.
Enough to lie, but a lot of room for the
Still
other
tons of
player.
room, that's right. Pat can afford to be quite narrow with his bowl to still be in the count, but
It's the weight that's an issue here.
yeah, I think he's in the ditch with this. I think that would have been a little better for line than his last one.
Yeah, with less weight it would have curled even more.
John's coming up well short on this.
Activity next door. I think Pat's just gonna wait.
And that should do it. Maybe, maybe not. Might have curved a little bit too much at the end. So John thinks that it's one for Pat, I think. No, one for John. So that makes it 8-3 after 6, so 3 to go. Looking down on rink 1, Leo Dusablon's up 7-3 over David James Smith. I think Peter Mock is up 6-4 over Jerome Kirby. John threw a longer jack again and threw his first bowl in the ditch. He seems to be struggling to keep it on when it's a long jack going this way. Wind might have a factor with that.
For sure. And because the bowls are going in the jack, in the ditch, you might be thinking he needs a longer sometimes you get a better mental vision if you threw a shorter one.
Yeah, yeah.
To help you just pull that weight back.
It's interesting, next door, Gary Pickering's wearing a Tiger Bull shirt and John's wearing a Tiger Bull shirt as well. Just different years. John's is pink and Gary's is a whole plethora of colors. John just missed the jack on his way to the ditch there, I think.
We're a long way from the days where people wore plain white shirts out there.
Yep, that's right.
Bull's coming in nicely there for Pat.
It's a beautiful bull there from Pat.
It's a lot harder than it looks out there today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to sit back and see some bulls a distance away, but with the wind, it's a challenge for sure.
It's definitely a challenge, yeah. And John is wide and in the ditch there. I think he was looking to grab the bowler jack. Just got outside.
Can't take an awful lot of green on that side.
No. It's not very forgiving. Pat came up short and narrow. Not sure how many that was for Pat. So I guess that was 3 for Pat there. Make it 11-3 with 2 ends left in this set. So John would need 2 perfect ends to tie this set. So Pat being a southpaw, I'm wondering if he just favors his backhand, as he seems to be playing it going both directions. Pat got outside the line there. Good weight, but well wide. Claire Day just made a comment that's Pat's bull there is where the jack was before. Last time they played this way when John chipped it out.
That's a great bull from John.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
Pat's switching now after seeing that last one hang. And maybe easier to play the bull off here with the straight hand.
Jack or bull, but I think he's a little tight.
reasonable second shot. Could be those bowls that he's taken out wide are getting into some grass that really hadn't been played as much, and then it's heavier, and so then the bowl pulls up short.
Mm-hmm. I think Pat's up the weight a little bit here to hold the line.
Oh,
Got
nice
the bowl.
contact. Well done.
So that's at least 2 for Pat right now. Not sure about his third. So I think this set is pretty much in Pat's hand right now. I'm not sure how John's going to get forward of that. Don't think he's looking for it either.
Needs the jack to go to
Yeah,
the right.
to the corner.
A lot.
But
Nice ball.
got one out of it.
Yeah. You're always going to have another chance in the next set. It's about starting to put the bowls where you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence with the line, the weight. Get ready for that second set.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the time if you wanted to try something drastically different to do it.
Yep.
There's really no risk.
Yep.
And you've decided then maybe what you want to do in the second set.
Whether you're bringing the mat up or changing
You could
lengths,
try
changing
playing
hands.
short in this direction.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he is. Something of a freebie.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
first set's gone.
Yeah.
And you got to change something up at this point.
John is being very precise with the jack there. So this is the first game for everybody on this deck here right now, I believe. As they all had buys the first round.
Does everybody have 2 games today?
I'm not entirely sure on that. I think so, but we don't really know.
Not so sure about your theory of Pat playing his backhand.
Yeah,
his
not anymore.
Forehand.
Not anymore. I think both these players have realized that that non-ditch side is a nice swoop that they're trying to master.
Good line on that one.
Mm-hmm. Next door, it looks like Carter Watson's up 6-3 over Gary Pickering. They're playing in number 7. Glenn Taylor's taking the lead 7-4 over Malcolm Taylor. Mike McNorton up 7-5 over Ivo Van Basteler. Ernie Mead and Gary O'Connell are all tied up at 5. Bo Koss is up 8-0 down on rank 3.
Looked like Pat's last bowl was shot, but I didn't catch the question
Not
that
yet.
John asked the marker.
So I think John said that your last bowl in there is shot to Pat on his way back.
Is that the shot now?
I think it might be, but it's hard to tell when we go back to this camera angle. I think it is. Beautiful bowl there from Pat. Might have drawn it off.
I believe so.
Yep, one for Pat to put this first set in the books, 12-4.
And of course, winner of the first set will take the jack and the mat now to start the second.
And I'll put that 1 next to Pat Byrd's name to signify that he won the first set. They look like they're the fastest game out here.
Leo Dusblon has already won the first set against David James Smith on rank 1.
Mm-hmm. So maybe second fastest.
Hasn't been a lot of measuring in this match.
No, not at all.
A good opener there.
With Pat being last year's winner, he's off to Australia in a couple months for the Champion of Champions event. Both him and Mary Wright will be heading down to St. John's Park in New South Wales.
Yeah, so I'm sure this event is good prep for them.
Mm-hmm.
As much as they want to win this one too, it's also about prepping for where they're headed.
Yeah.
Nice
yeah.
bowl there from Pat.
Oh, that's a beautiful bowl.
Working that swoop really well. Pat not afraid to play the jacks longer in this direction into the wind.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a bit of a push.
Pat's delivery, his momentum carries him about 2 paces off the mat, but he never seems to chase it down further. He'll just go those 2 steps and stand and watch. It's great bowls there.
That consistency in the approach and the delivery is part of why he can repeat those bowls.
Mm-hmm. John threw a drive that was outside. Pat's putting on a clinic here. He's found out his line and weight on that swoop hand here for this end.
And he already had a bowl in behind, so he didn't really need to do that.
John's drive missed again, so it's 3 for sure. Probably 4, I would think.
Last bowl from Pat did widen the head a little bit, but still, first end of a new set, you want to count what you can, right? And take that lead.
Yep. It's interesting that John threw 2 drives there, as I believe that's the first 2 drives he's thrown all game. I don't know if he threw any in the first set.
Certainly with that weight, he played a little overweight before, but not that.
Wondering if might have been a good idea to practice those drives on that last end of the first set where it was sort of a freebie just to loosen up the arm if you're thinking you might ever throw a drive.
Yeah, have a look at how much it bends on that straight side that he's favoring.
I know some people during trial bowls will throw a drive just to...
Well, especially singles. You got 4 trial bowls. You can afford to throw 1 drive in your trials. Have a look at the green. Battle of the Tailors is tied up again, 7-7.
And they're playing their last end of the first set, so that's going to be a down to the wire winner of the set. Pat's coming up a little bit narrow, but pretty good weight. John's just through the port. Pretty good adjustment there from Pat.
Yeah, I think he'll be happier with that. Working straight side well now.
I think John's probably pretty happy with his first bowl where it landed right now. He can
give some options, right?
Play a little wider and bowl or jack.
Gotta watch that if you're adding any weight here that you're not wide.
You got Pat square. Pat's quick on the mat, not asking any questions. It's not changing his shot at all. Just knows exactly what he wants to play.
Placing that back bowl well. A better line here, got the jack. Jack just bounced off the shot bowl and didn't really change the situation, I don't think. But a great attempt by John.
Pat, we'll come down and take a look at this now. Someone's car horn is going off here. And as always, head over to the Bulls Canada website for standings and results. You can see who's playing who in the draw. Not sure if that was enough to do it. Big thanks to our partners and sponsors, the Government of Canada through Sport Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada, Kukri, our official clothing supplier, and lawnbowlingmanager.com. Head on over to lawnbowlingmanager.com if you're looking to get a new website or club database. It's your one-stop shop for a club management tool. John's throwing weight here again. Inside.
Jerome Kirby won the first set against Peter Mock.
Bo Koss won the first set as well. So did Mike McNorton. So Pat picked up a 3 there. Make it 7-0.
I think they're already into a tiebreaker. Gary O'Connell and Ernie Mead. Looks like one set apiece.
Really?
Yeah.
They are flying then. This is only the third end of the second set for these guys on the TV rink here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, during round robin, you have to play all the ends of the set. Right?
Yep.
So it's not that somebody conceded the set early.
Yeah, points matter for plus minus. Wind might be affecting them on this length here, as Pat came up pretty heavy and John's well short. Pretty similar shot there from Pat. Didn't change a whole lot. John only added a couple feet.
Well, they're both going to need to get closer. Shot coming in now.
And that'll be number 1. I think John's inside on this. Yep. Almost got his in.
Wind is picked up as our tent is rocking away here.
Yeah.
If we disappear, hopefully someone will raise the tent and let us out. Oh, Pat sneaks around John's bowl, draws a beautiful shot to the jack there. line 2.
I think John's just a little too quick. Yeah. So that's another 1 or 2 for Pat there. So I think that was to make it 9-0.
Players are just going to refill their water.
Mm-hmm.
I think this draw is dealing with a stronger wind than the first draw.
I think so too.
There was definitely a wind presence in the first game, but it's stronger now.
Any ideas on how fast the wind gusts are going right now, if you were to guess?
You know what? The weather report said gusting to 50, and it seems like that could be the case. None of the mats have moved. I've played where the mats have moved. That's closer to 70 kilometers an hour. Go down to check the head. You put your bowl on the mat to hold it down.
Yep. Yeah. That's a habit most people don't really need to get into up here, but I'm sure in New Zealand that's probably common practice.
I can't even remember what kind of mats we had. Maybe they were heavier. These are not terribly heavy mats.
Right.
Usually quite enough, but
The players are back. We'll get back underway into the 4th end here. Next door, Carter Watson picked up the first set over Gary Pickering, and Glenn Taylor took the first set over Malcolm Taylor.
scoreboard's changed in the game between Gary O'Connell and Ernie Mead. Now instead of saying 1 set each, it says a tie. So maybe that first set was a tie and someone didn't know how to mark it. Just gave them 1 each.
That could have been.
Try and figure out whether they're in the second set or in the tiebreaker here.
Could have been. I think you're right that they probably tied the first set. I don't know how they could be playing a tiebreak already.
Players leaving a little room at the jack again. The conditions just...
Making it tough to lock it on the way you'd like to.
But for John, at least going this direction, he's got back bowls instead of short bowls. So if he does turn to the drive at the end, he's possibly got more opportunities.
Pat's going to run down, so will John to take a look at how far away things are.
Sometimes as a marker, you're just scared they're gonna, when everything's so far away, you're scared they're gonna ask you what's the count because you can't tell.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's that far away, you don't really need to know. You just need to draw close.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's usually how I play. I'm not overly concerned with who shot at this point. I'd just be looking to draw, draw, draw. I wouldn't even be overly concerned about back bowls. If they're gonna bear jack that back to the ditch,
That's right.
then hats off to you for getting a bear jack back there. But earlier on in the end, Pat threw a bowl that just sort of took off into the side ditch there, and so he's saying the marker said it was the wind, it wasn't our own guys.
And the marker is Gord Horton. He's a
Okay.
past president of Bowls Manitoba and a past president of the Norwood Lawn Bowling Club.
Ah, okay. This looks like a much better bowl here from Pat. Just a little quick, but good line. I think John's just looking to follow Pat down here, maybe rest his last bowl. He's chasing it down.
It's turning early.
All on the weight there. That could be
but
shot.
Yeah.
Must be flipping the cap backwards. That did it.
We'll see what he does now that he gets a chance to take the jack.
Mm-hmm. I would expect him to change something up. Yeah, so they're kicking out one. I think that's it. John Siteman did a pretty great opening introduction for all the players there last night.
Yeah, that was a great spark to the evening.
Looked up some stats for as many players as he could, so he could say, here's so-and-so, the 2014 champion of whatever.
Must have taken him a bit of time to prep that.
I would think so. Probably didn't do that in 5 minutes.
Now he's thrown the jack shorter in this direction.
Mhm.
Pat has generally been throwing it fairly long into the wind. So we'll see what that does for John.
Great
It's a better
weight.
start, yeah.
Great weight.
Yeah, and last night at our opening we had Nate Jacobucci, who'd be known to a number of bowlers across country, particularly the younger ones. His band, Campfire Sigh, was playing until 8:30 last night, 8:40, pleasing the crowd. And they said they've got an album coming out in October.
Oh, really?
Debut album.
Yeah.
Played the title track from that album, Transparent Sun.
Nate is something else on the piano. He can.
You know, Nate's a terrific bowler, but he's an amazing musician.
Mm-hmm.
And a great young man to boot.
I hadn't seen him since probably 2011, I think might have been the last time I seen him, so it was quite a shock to me to see him all grown up, because last time I saw him he was only,
And he's gone from long hair to short hair, and
Yeah.
now it's getting a little longer again, musician style. We're seeing a good end here. They're playing much tighter,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's been a good change up for John. He's thrown the right weight in there twice.
I was just gonna say, it looks like all of those bowls are relatively close weight-wise. Just a matter of finding the right line. And Pat was just fighting that straighter hand.
Maybe the shorter jack length just didn't give it as much time to come up as
Mm-hmm.
when it's been a longer jack. But he must be at least second.
I would think so, yeah.
Yep. Not sure whether John sees an opportunity to take a good multiple here. Was he looking at rolling back Pat's bowl?
I'd have to think that's probably a pretty good option there.
I
Push
don't
it
know
back for
who's
2 or
third
3.
and fourth.
Or he might be looking to trail the jack as well. Could be an option.
He's close. Ah, nice bowl.
Great shot. You can always tell when John's pretty close, so he'll let you know.
I think the most consistent end we've seen from him yet, right? So
Mm-hmm. I think so.
he made a good change up and needs to score here.
Yeah, yes he does. See if you can get some momentum going and score a multiple. I think Pat's sticking with this ditch hand side. Yep. Coming up short. So I'm not sure if that was 1 or 2 for John.
Whoa! Batten down the hatches here.
Mm-hmm. So that was 2 for John. Making it 9-3. So John's opted to make it a bit longer of an end here now, and he's... I think he's finally starting to get his weight down now. Earlier on in the game when it was longer and he was throwing a few in the ditch, but...
And maybe playing the short end previous to this is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It might even be the same weight.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he played short into the wind and now he's playing longer with the wind. Might help him get his rhythm. Nice
That's a
bowl.
beautiful
from
bowl there
Pat.
from Pat.
And of course, the person who's thrown the jack has the best knowledge of just how close those two ends
Yeah.
are for weight. That's your advantage.
John almost came across after using his first. I don't think he's short on this. Just by. John's coming up well narrow on this. 6-point game with 4 ends to go.
John's points blew right off the board.
Yep. Yep.
He'll be wanting to put those back up. That's what you wish. Like, why wouldn't my opponent's points blow off the board?
Just blow away. So next door, Gary Pickering's up 5-0 in the second set. Malcolm Taylor's up 4-1 over Glenn.
Oh, trying to take that. Well thrown.
Connected.
Pat was lying at least 2.
Mm-hmm. Although Johns didn't follow it straight into the ditch. After hitting Pat's bull, it went off to the side. So I think Pat still is going to have a fair bit of room to draw here. But does it run off at the end, do you think?
Maybe not terribly, but
Gonna have to be pretty precise.
you can afford to take some extra green there, and it'll probably run really straight, right? We've seen a lot of bulls go in the ditch, right?
Yeah.
Where the Jack's New Center, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bowl that's off to the side.
Don't think there's too much of a downward slope at the end, but might be enough that you're gonna have to draw up a little bit shorter from the plinth than you would like.
As you do your commentary this afternoon will be at the clubhouse end, but that end that they're playing at right now, you'll see one swoopy side and one straight side. There is a gradual slope toward the ditch. But not necessarily like some greens where it's pretty straight and then just the last 6 feet drop.
Right. So I think Pat's just trying to draw this off cold.
Yeah.
Not looking to use any of his others.
He stays out of the ditch.
He's pretty
great.
close.
Oh,
Wow, what a bowl.
thrown.
What a bowl. So yeah, that's one. Looking around, I can see Ivo is up 5-2 over Mike McNorton in the second set. Further on down, David James Smith is up 8-6 over Leo Dusablanc. Pat's playing a bit of a longer end here.
He has been doing that into the wind.
Mm-hmm. You can tell Pat's not too particular about whether the jack's actually on the center line or not. He was ready to bowl before the marker had finished lining things up perfectly. Beauty shot. John's just inside. I'm really curious about what kind of bowls that Pat's using, so I'm seeing if he wrote it down on his
Pushes that ball
info
through.
sheet.
Still lying 2 for Pat, but good attempt by John.
And here we go. So
Groove.
Pat from Calgary is an accountant. 15 years bowling, and he's using an arrow groove. Favorite vacation spot? Waskason, Saskatchewan. That's a very unique answer. Would not have expected that.
Is that possibly where, pretty much close to where Pat is from? Pat's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I would have to think it's probably, that might be home for him. Earlier this year, he made it to the final 64 in singles at the Australian Open. Also the Moana Park Bears Cup champions in Gold Coast. That is 2017 resume.
Yeah, his full resume would take a few pages.
It would probably take quite a bit to read through.
Recent highlights.
Yeah,
there.
we'll just say what he did this year. So John's a third-year public relations student at Mount St. Vincent University. Plays at the Dartmouth Lawn Bowling Club. John's been bowling for 7 years and is using Drake's Pride Professional size 3.
Pat's putting in his back bowl now.
So for major accomplishments, John put down, he won the silver medal at the 2013 Forster-Lang Pairs with Alex LeBlanc, competed in 2 Australian Opens on the Gold Coast, and then won a men's fours section with 3 Australian teammates in one of those Australian Opens.
I'm sure that was exciting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And gets a shot, it looks like.
I'll make it 10-4 with 2 to go.
Keeps things alive.
Mm-hmm.
Played weight to make sure he was there.
Similar spot that Robbie was in the first draw, though, where right now he needs a 3 and a 4 because you can't just tie since he lost the first set.
Yeah, it's almost like that extra point on the board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So John's elected to make it a bit of a longer end here as well.
He's had more success recently with his conversion shots at the end of the end.
Mm-hmm. Next door, Gary Pickering up 6-1 over Carter Watson. Malcolm Taylor up 5-1 over Glenn Taylor. Ernie Mead up 6-5 over Gary O'Connell. Can't see a whole lot of other scoreboards right now.
It's 9-6 for David James Smith over Leo Dussablon, playing the final end of the second set.
Pat's still looking to master that ditch hand side. Found a pretty good line there. Just needed a
Mm-hmm.
little more weight.
We haven't counted. He has thrown a lot of backhands in the game.
The way that Pat does a backswing before his bowls, I'm always curious if he's going to throw a drive or not. Not that he really needs to right now by any means, but just the way he winds up.
Oh, that one's holding out for him.
Mm-hmm.
It is a strong wind at the moment.
It is. Tough spot for John to be in right now. He needs to score at least 3 this end to give himself a chance.
He does have 2 back ones on the left.
Mm-hmm.
David James Smith did take the second set, so he and Leo Dusablon are going into a tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. Not sure what John was trying to do there with his last bowl. I think Pat's figured it out here on his last. It'll be shot itself.
Save the best for last, that end.
Mm-hmm. So John's getting down to measure here. Doesn't want to give up any unnecessary points. I think that was 1 for Pat. Would make it 11-4 coming home. He won the first set 12-4, I believe, so this is pretty similar.
Good opener for him. And keeping it long into the wind again.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good start.
I think most people would be happy with that.
I know I would.
Yeah.
It's always sort of a sigh of relief when you put your first one close, because you know that you're forcing your opponent to have to make a shot.
Can't be unhappy with this one.
No,
either.
that's a pretty good bowl there.
Bowls, yeah, there it is. Marker was waiting for it to fall over.
Mm-hmm. John's coming up quite narrow on this. Pat's just looking to keep piling them in. Pretty close.
Yeah, very consistent.
And got
Another
a toucher out of it.
toucher.
Marco will be using up all his chalk here on the last end. And John's saying heads up and throwing some white. He crashed on his first. So, only Pat Byrd's bowls are on the green right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he's looking to maybe get back to the tee a little more.
Good concentration, even though the game has been won, he's still plunking them in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see how John's drive and draw is. A little bit on the outside here, on the stitch hand side. So that'll be a 4-ball there for Pat. To make it 15-4 for the final. Pat Byrd winning in straight sets. So that's it for us. We'll take I guess a relatively decent break. It's only 10-1 right now. We're not scheduled to start again until 2:30, I think. So
Yeah, lunchtime.
lunchtime. So tune back in at 2:30 where we'll pick up the action again. Thanks for commentating with me, Shirley.
Thanks for having me, Jake. It's been fun.